Hi, my name is Carl. This movie and the ones that follow will take a closer look at the features, setup and programming of Yamaha's iPad app called ProVisionaire Touch. So what is ProVisionaire Touch? Well, it's designed to remotely control one or more of Yamaha's MRX or MTX processors. Let me show you a few examples on the screen of ProVisionaire Touch designs that we've made to give you an idea of how they may look. ProVisionaire Touch essentially lets you choose a background which can include company logos and branding. You can then choose from a bunch of widgets that can be buttons, faders, boxes or images, and these can be sized, coloured and positioned anywhere on the screen. And each of these widgets can have a parameter associated with them that you can adjust on the screen. Now, the MTX and MRX are slightly different in the way in which you assign parameters for control. The MTX series are fixed architecture, so we know what the list of available parameters is. The MRX, on the other hand, is an open architecture and freely configurable processor, so the choice of potential parameters is huge. Because of this, you need to create a list of parameters that you want to assign rather than choose them from an existing set. Let's see how to create that parameter list for the MRX. Inside the editor software is the MRX Designer, and we need to create a remote control setup list inside MRX Designer that we later export to the iPad to tell ProVisionaire Touch which parameters we've chosen. So first, we go to the System tab and double-click the MRX Designer window. I have some components open in the design window which include analog inputs and 8 faders to adjust the volume levels. From their labels you can see we have 2 mono microphone inputs and stereo inputs for an iPod and a Blu-ray player. Now, with my iPad, I'm not going to want to remote control 2 faders at the same time, although it is possible, so you might find this useful. I've created some parameter link groups, one for the iPod and one for the Blu-ray player. By moving the link master fader, you can now see that both inputs are moving together. These link master faders will be amongst those I assign to my list. It's worth knowing that up to 16 commands and parameters can be assigned to a single button or fader, which means that up to 16 devices can be adjusted at the same time. For example, you can turn on the CD player as an input source while simultaneously switching off a PC and an iPod. It's also worth knowing that there is an increase-decrease function for buttons, and that lets you use incremental button pushes rather than faders to adjust volume. I'll show you how to assign those in another movie later in this series. So I've chosen the faders that I want to control, and now I need to create that parameter list. Go to Tools and select Remote Control Setup List. The blank list appears. Then, holding the Control key on my computer keyboard, I can drag and drop the faders into the list, like so. Before closing this window, I then need to export this list so that I can send it to my iPad for use with ProVisionaire Touch. Click the Export button. Then, importantly, you must select file type RCSL and not CSV. RCSL is the file type that ProVisionaire Touch will recognize. Choose a name and save. Then close this window down. Next, you'll need to transfer that RCSL file to your iPad for later use. One option is to email it as an attachment to your iPad. And when you click on the attachment, it'll ask if you want to open it in ProVisionaire Touch, which is exactly what you want. Alternatively, you can transfer the file using iTunes. The way to do this is to connect your iPad to your computer and then open up iTunes. Having clicked on your iPad icon, go to Settings and then select Apps. Scroll down to File Sharing and under Apps, click on ProVisionaire Touch. In the right-hand box will appear any ProVisionaire Touch documents. If you then click Add, you can then select the RCSL file that you recently made. Click Add again and then sync your iPad with iTunes. This will transfer the file for you to use in your ProVisionaire Touch design. If we are using an MTX rather than an MRX, then we don't need to create and export an RCSL file. The parameters will already be there in the ProVisionaire Touch. In the following movie, we'll see how we design the user interface of ProVisionaire Touch to control the parameters of our choice. Thank you for watching.